Most snake owners think they know their snake. They don't. Right now, your snake is doing things every single day that you are completely misreading. Not because you don't care, not because you're not paying attention, but because almost nobody ever explains what these behaviors actually mean. By the end of this video, you are going to look at your snake completely differently, because at least one of these 7 things your snake is doing right now and you have never understood why. You already know snakes can't blink, no eyelids, permanent transparent scale over the eye called the spectacle. So when you see your snake's eyes look slightly cloudy or dull for a few days, that's not illness, that's not boredom. That is your snake getting ready to shed its entire skin. And the cloudiness is fluid building up between the old skin and the new one underneath. Owners panic when they see this. Don't. It's one of the most normal things a snake does. But here's what almost nobody tells you. During this phase, your snake's vision is significantly impaired. It genuinely cannot see well, which means if your snake suddenly seems more defensive or jumpy during this time, it's not behavioral. It's literally struggling to see threats clearly, and that changes everything about how you should be interacting with it. Here's something that confuses almost every new owner. Your snake flicks its tongue faster when your hand gets close. Most people assume this means excitement or curiosity or even aggression. None of those are quite right. Remember, the tongue is collecting chemical particles and delivering them to the Jacobson's organ in the roof of the mouth. Faster flicking means your snake is gathering more information faster. It is trying to identify you with more precision in that exact moment. Think of it like your eyes narrowing to focus on something important. Your snake isn't winding up to strike, it's reading you harder than usual. Usually because something changed. Maybe you washed your hands and your scent shifted. Maybe you just ate something. Maybe you're wearing a new lotion. Your snake noticed before you even thought about it. This one looks alarming, and most owners interpret it as escape behavior, like the snake is desperately trying to get out. Sometimes that's true, but there's another version of this behavior that looks identical and means something completely different. If your snake presses its head against the surface gently, repeatedly, almost like it's testing the boundary, without frantic body movement, without rapid tongue flicking, without that tense, rigid posture, it may actually be thermoregulating, searching for a slightly different temperature zone. Snakes are constantly hunting for the exact right spot on the heat gradient, and sometimes that search looks like pushing against glass. The difference between "I need a different temperature" and "let me out of here" comes down to everything else the body is doing at the same time. If even one of these is already making you rethink something your snake does, subscribe now, because thing number 5 on this list is something almost every single owner gets backwards, and it could be affecting how stressed your snake actually is. This is the one that sends owners into a panic. Snake stops eating. No injury, no obvious illness, and the assumption is always the worst-case scenario. But here's what almost nobody explains. Snakes go through completely normal periods of appetite suppression that have nothing to do with sickness. Shedding suppresses appetite. Breeding season suppresses appetite, sometimes for months, especially in males. Even subtle changes in the light cycle, which mimic seasonal shifts in the wild, can shut off hunger entirely. In the wild, food is unpredictable and inconsistent. A snake's body is built to handle long stretches without eating. What looks like an emergency to you might just be your snake's biology running exactly the way millions of years of evolution designed it. This is the one almost every owner gets backwards. You'll see your snake lift just its head and the front part of its body straight up, perfectly vertical, completely still, almost like a periscope coming out of water. Most people think this means the snake is scared, or alert to danger, or about to strike. Sometimes that's true in a specific threat context, but far more often, this exact posture is simply your snake gathering information about its surroundings from a higher vantage point. Checking air currents, scanning for heat sources, getting a wider field of view before deciding to move. It's curiosity, not fear. The tell is the rest of the body. If the body below stays loose and relaxed while the head periscopes up, that's investigation. If the whole body is rigid and coiled while it does this, that's a different story entirely. That's heightened alertness, and that one deserves space. Owners often notice their snake repeatedly rubbing its nose or the front of its face against branches, rocks, or the enclosure walls, and assume something is wrong, an injury, an irritation, a stuck piece of shed skin. Sometimes that's exactly right, and it's worth checking for retained shed around the eyes or nose. But this behavior also happens for a completely different reason. It can simply be the early stages of the shedding process, where your snake is using friction to help loosen the old skin starting at the head, which is always where a shed begins and ends. The behavior that looks like discomfort might actually be your snake doing exactly what its body needs it to do, on schedule, the way it's done for hundreds of millions of years. And the seventh thing, the one most owners misread the most, your snake locks eyes on you and freezes the second you walk in. No eyelids, remember, so the stare itself is constant, but the stillness underneath it is the real signal. This isn't fear, this isn't aggression, it's assessment. Your snake is running an ancient internal checklist that predates almost every other survival mechanism in the animal kingdom. Threat or no threat. And if that stillness stays loose, calm, unhurried, and eventually breaks on its own as your snake looks away first, that's not your snake ignoring you. That's your snake deciding, after processing everything it knows about you, your scent, your movement, your pattern, that you are not a threat, that you are simply a known, safe part of its world. Here's what all 7 of these behaviors actually have in common. None of them are random. None of them are your snake malfunctioning or being moody or doing something inexplicable. Every single one is your snake's ancient, finely tuned nervous system responding exactly the way it was built to respond, to temperature, to chemical signals, to light, to the specific presence of you. The owners who struggle the most with their snakes aren't the ones who made mistakes. They're the ones who never learned to read what your snake was already trying to tell you every single day in a language that has nothing to do with words. You don't need your snake to act like a mammal to have a real relationship with it. You just need to understand the language it's already speaking. And now, you do.